Southeast Radio's Business Matters with Karl Fitzpatrick.
Well, Zanna Cookhouse is the ultimate business scale-up story. From starting out by selling its products in farmers' markets in Wexford, it can now be seen on the shelves of both Dunnes Stores and Tesco nationwide. Managing Director of Zanna Cookhouse, Owen Mullins, joins us now to share its growth story. Owen, while food and cooking was always a passion of yours, you had already spent 28 years in the transport industry before you decided to pursue a new career.
Morning, Karl, and thank you for having us in. I guess I always had a love of cooking, and I got to a stage in my life where I felt if I didn't make a move now, that was never going to happen. I guess the big fear I had was if I started doing cooking or chefing at a commercial or professional level, I'd lose the interest and the love that I had of it. But thankfully that hasn't happened, and we're as happy today as we could possibly expect to be.
So, Owen, what prompted yourself and your wife Lorna to establish Zanna Cookhouse back in 2007?
Okay, so I did the course in Ballymaloe, 3-month course down there, learned how to chef. Absolutely beautiful place and brilliant place to learn how to chef. And when I came back to Wexford, I started working with Kevin Dundon in Dunbrody Country House. And again, Kevin's a gentleman to work with and loved working down there. But we started making quiches and pies, soups, pâtés, desserts for the farmers' market in Wexford and in Escorty. And after a short time, I guess the local shops and supermarkets came to ask, could we stock our products on their shelves? And the business really took off. So it was a question for me then, do I run with the quiches and pies and so on that had taken legs, or stay in service and work in the kitchen? And I absolutely love working in service, or love working for Kevin. So a very difficult choice, but at the time we felt, well, there's a possibility here of advancing, so we went with that one.
And in terms of the next chapter of development for the business, what did that look like and how did you achieve it?
Yeah, I guess we got involved with Board B in a cluster group back then, whereby ourselves, Pat O'Neill Bacon, Mary O'Regan Chickens, a few others, were in need of expanding the market beyond Wexford and into Dublin. And Board B suggested or got the group together to get our products all into one van, Pat O'Neill's vans, as I recollect, and get our products into shops in Dublin. So there was a number of shops in Dublin then that we were able to get a foothold in, and since then we've all expanded in our various areas and all got our own vans and delivered directly into the shops in Dublin.
And then the big break came in 2015 when you received a call from Dunnes Stores.
That's it, Karl. It was an exciting phone call to get, I guess, and generally very opportune for ourselves. Generally it's a situation where you're knocking on the door of such a multiple for a long time before you're successfully accepted or listed as a supplier. But we had the buyer and the new product developer from the Simply Better team, which was a new adventure, I guess, for Dunnes at the time, come down visit us. At that time we were located in Broadway, and they liked the product. Liked what we're doing. They had already sampled the Zanna Cookhouse products, so they knew exactly the quality that we were offering. And this was the whole enterprise with the Simply Better team, was to put a quality artisan type product on the shelves and offer to the public at large. So it was very successful in that regard.
And Owen, talk to us about the production process.
Yeah, so I guess when we started at home, we were making maybe, 80 to 100 quiches a week. It's not something that you step up to overnight. We're now in the region of producing 78,000 units per month.
Wow.
We have 37 people employed. What we did, I suppose, initially was got little pieces of equipment that helped us to make the shells faster for the quiches. Got better ovens. We moved from our own kitchen to a little kitchen that we rented from Stable Diet. We moved from there then, that was 900 square feet, into another place, 2,500 square feet, which was the old Wexford Preserves jam factory. So Tom and Laura are now down happily working in New Ross, but that's where we were then. And then in 2022 we moved into a 7,500 square foot facility in Wexford town, which was a shell when we initially started in there, and we brought up the full top quality food grade walls, floors, ceilings, refrigeration equipment, all that kind of equipment that was necessary for a top of the line food production facility.
And what does the current product range now look like?
where we're at now is approximately 90% of our products are quiches and pies. The demand was there. We have the facility to streamline our production processes, I guess, to facilitate the manufacture of the quiches and pies.
And from the 13th of May last, Zanna Cookhouse products are now available in Tesco stores. How did that come about?
Yeah, well, we had, I guess, been knocking on Tesco's door for a good bit. We would have started into Tesco, I suppose, 10 years ago now, like with direct-to-store deliveries, and we would have delivered into 12 stores in Dublin and Wexford as well. And we had always got the ambition to expand the range into nationwide distribution within Tesco. Discussions did take place prior to COVID. COVID kind of knocked all that on the head. And then after COVID, like, we started back talking to Tesco. We had a meeting last November with the Tesco people in Wexford in our new facility. And kind of we went from there, like, so entirely grateful to Tesco for taking us on board and putting us on the shelves. Our job now is to make sure we stay on the shelves. And that's, of course, down to sales and how we promote the business as well.
And how are you going to promote it to ensure that the product gets the recognition and also that people become aware of the product? Because, of course, there's up to 15,000 products on the shelves of these supermarkets.
So what we're doing there is we're looking at, and we've spoken to Tesco. And again, Tesco are working with us in the social media sphere because they have a lot of information and knowledge about demographics and so on. So we're working with those very closely. But it's also a situation whereby we're looking at, we've got a list from Tesco of the top 10 stores in Ireland. So we're going to focus there first with in-store tastings and offers as well at the same time. And depending on the success of that, we might expand out then nationally to try and do tastings everywhere, because I think the personal experience of dealing with the producer from the customer's point of view is critical and important. Like, in terms of, if you can get people to taste it, then you're halfway there, I guess.
And as part of the way in which you're working with Tesco, you're going to be availing of their central distribution. Talk to us about that and what that will mean.
Initially, I guess, with the Tesco supply route, we were driving around with our own van delivering into Tesco stores. Now we have a transport company who will pick our product up at our factory, bring it into central distribution in Dublin, the Tesco central distribution hub, and then they will order pick to all the stores around the country our products to go on the shelves nationwide. So immediately, I guess we have a national profile in terms of the brand, the Zanna Cookhouse brand, and that's critically important for the growth of the business as well, and how we take ourselves forward into the future.
So is your core focus for the short to medium term the growth within Tesco around the country?
Yeah, I guess it has to be our focus point at the minute. Like, you just, it's not, when you go into Tesco stores or any store, like, and it's the same with the Simply Better Dunnes Stores brand. It's 100% attention 100% of the time, like, and I don't, if you give less than 100%, you're not going to be at the races for long. That's our intention with everything.
What advice do you have for any early stage or even aspiring food entrepreneur that may be listening this morning?
Speaking from my own personal journey, like, the farmers market for me was, and I'm extremely thankful for their existence and the fact that I got a foothold, because without being able to get to the farmers market to sell the product, I wouldn't have been able to achieve what we have achieved. So I guess the first thing would be to kind of establish a local output for your offering. If you want to develop beyond that, then obviously there's the marketing end of things. You certainly can approach the multiples. Probably not a good thing to do straight away because volumes are huge and you got to be able to manage it as you go. So grow the business bit by bit. Never give up. Never say die, because there'll be obstacles and there'll be always challenges, I guess. But you got to keep the nose to the grindstone. Don't expect it to be easy. Like, it's 24/7, and you work hard and you make your luck from that.
Well, if you've just tuned in, that was Owen Mullins from Zanna Cookhouse. And it's great to see this Wexford business continue to go from strength to strength.
Southeast Radio's Business Matters with Karl Fitzpatrick.